Hello and welcome to my channel. So a couple of days ago, I was looking through the hard drive that I've had, the external hard drive that I've had since I started this channel. I was combing through it because I was trying to make space. I was deleting a lot of old videos and I ran across some videos that I never fully edited or some that I was completely finished editing, but I just never posted them online. And one of those videos was about the subject that I'm going to talk about today. And I decided at the time not to post it because I felt my tone was off and I didn't want to come across the wrong way. The issue in the video that I was speaking of was the issue of dating standards. And it was inspired by a TikTok video that was going on that platform at the time, or going around that platform at the time, going viral. It was in the fall of 2021. That's how old this video is. But in the TikTok, there's a young woman, and I'm not going to play the video because it's old. She's moved on. The internet's moved on. Let's move on. But in the video, the young woman was stating that she refuses to go on a date with anybody who asks her out to a chain restaurant for the first date. She starts off the video by saying, if a guy asks you to Applebee's, Red Lobster, TGI Fridays, Chili's on your first date, would you go? Because she would not. She refuses. Because why would they take her there? Why would they think she would want to go to a chain restaurant? And as you can imagine, this caused quite the aggressive response from the internet. But it made me think to myself, in a culture where, especially if you're a single woman, you are always told your standards are your standards, keep them high, sprinkle, sprinkle, and all that. Is there such thing as maybe having too high standards to where you equate simple, regular, completely acceptable activities with a man just horrifically letting you down and being a terrible option for somebody that you could possibly date? And so that's what that video was about. I made it. I completed it. Here's a little screenshot of it. I thought I looked cute in my pink shirt with the pink background and everything else. But then I let it go. I said, I don't like your tone, babe. Talking to myself. I was like, you cannot come on this channel. You cannot come on Beyonce's internet and have that tone and talk to women about their dating standards. And you ain't even got no man. Like, you're opening up for people to attack you in the comments, discussing it this way. Let it go. So I did. And then as time would have it, the internet resurrects this topic when the following text hit social media earlier this week. This is an exchange between two people. And as you can see, the guy reaches out first and he says, hey. She's like, hey. I assume from this text that it's maybe one of the first times that they've ever spoken. Anyway, he goes on to say, it's so hot out here, I could really go for some ice cream. She does not respond with, oh yeah, I know a couple of spots. I like ice cream. Ice cream's cool. What she responds with is, as you can see on the screen, it's clear you're not for me. Ice cream date is unacceptable. I will not be joining you. Good luck. Or something to that effect. I'm not reading it right now, but you can see the words here on the screen. And it opened up a conversation that I wanted to have 2 years ago, which is, high standards are great, but is there a point where they become so high that they're actually kind of delusional? So that's something that I want to discuss in this video. But before I get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Scentbird. Summer season can be a great season for traveling, having fun, going on first date, trying out new things. And the things you try out could be a new summer scent. Now, if you're trying things out, if you're trying to become a full-fledged perfume girly in the summer, you may not want to go out and buy a full bottle of perfume. They can be expensive, and what if you don't like it? So a good alternative to that would be signing up for Scentbird, and that way, for just $17 a month, you can try out new scents monthly. They have all your name brands like Prada, Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, but Scentbird also has a lot of niche brands to help you find your perfect scent. I've tried a couple of luxury brands with Scentbird, and now I'm getting more to niche brands. This month specifically, I have received the following scents. I've got L'Eau Rêve d'Alma. I've got Grace of Monaco perfume, and I've also got Aqua di Parma. My favorite scent this month came in this little pink bottle, and it is the Dans Étoile Eau de Parfum. I can't pronounce that, but that is what it is, and it's actually been great to try out all of the scents. If you would like the opportunity to try Scentbird for yourself, you can use my code, OSTEPHCO55, and get 55% off your first month at Scentbird. All right, so going back to the topic of dating standards and why I initially decided to go ahead and not post my first video asking women if sometimes we're asking for a little too much. I think that dating standards had such a pejorative tone in general because it's always used to kind of bring women down. The idea is, and men, but I'm a woman, so I'm centering my experience here. But I just know a lot of times if you say like, oh, I want this and this and this, people can come in and reduce sometimes your very, very valid wants and desires for a romantic partner to the most ridiculous, superficial things when they know that it's not that much to ask for. You're not asking for a lot. And then let's take that term, the idea of not asking for a lot. So in the same way, people can come in and knock you down and reduce you for, maybe asking for too much. You have the same people who will tell you that you're not asking for enough. And so I do think that when dating, there is an internal battle a lot of the time between, is this too much and is this not enough? And I think some of us, to keep from ending up in a situation where we are consistently offered less because that's what we signed up for from the beginning, I think we set the bar at a certain place, and if he doesn't hit that, then he has to go. In fact, it's ironic to me, the conversations that were happening last week around the concept of boundaries, because in a way, I think that dating standards are your own boundaries when it comes to dating. This is what you will and won't accept. And I believe that having that at the beginning and following that will save you from a lot of trouble and pain. But the reason why I initially decided not to post a video is because I don't want women to think that they shouldn't have those standards. But I do think I had good intentions, and therefore I love the conversation that's coming out of this ice cream date tech, which is sometimes we are too quick to cut someone off just because on the very first date, they might not be pulling out all the stops. And I want to say there's a difference between someone really not offering anything and somebody just offering a lower pressure dating option. So not offering anything, in my experience, once somebody asked me if I wanted to go take a walk in a park on a hot day. There would be no hydration there. There would be we would take a walk and talk. That's what he wanted. He wanted to walk and talk. So for me, that's not offering anything. Versus someone who says, do you want to go get coffee? When you get to the coffee place, he says, hey, good morning or good afternoon or whatever. How are you? I'm ordering a coffee and I'm getting, a little something to eat. What would you like? To me, that's low pressure, but it still shows he has good intentions. He understands the basics of asking someone out on a date, what you should offer them when they show up, something to drink and to eat. He's got basic manners. And I don't think it's a bad situation. And this conversation comes up a lot. I have seen this conversation come up, and I've seen coffee dates kind of, shamed. But when this situation with the ice cream came up, people were like, well, now wait a minute. Is it really that bad of a deal to have something that is low pressure? And I don't think that it is. Whether it's coffee, whether it's ice cream, whether you guys go and get tea together, whether you go and get, I've been thinking about it, and I don't think that you could do what you want, but I don't know how I feel about getting drinks, like alcoholic drinks on the first date, because I don't know about you, but I would prefer to drink around somebody that I'm comfortable with, because I know I like to turn it up to 11. So I don't know about that, but definitely doing things that are more low pressure. I do think it's important for the man to show some kind of monetary investment in the woman's time. I absolutely do think that, but I am more traditional in that way. And so, I think low pressure dates are fine. I also think that they can also be better for you. It doesn't lock you into maybe some patriarchal and archaic ideas of what you might owe him. And it's really an easy out for both of you if this situation is not going to work out. And it's also a really sweet start to your story if it is going to work out. I know people that met for coffee and got married, bought a house, and had kids within 3 years of that coffee date. I really think that for the most part, we put too much pressure on somebody having to perform and pull out all the stops on the first date, when the first date is really about establishing that general connection. And I think it's fine to have a low pressure time and move on with your life. Now, my final question that I want to propose here to myself and to you is, does it matter what I think of somebody else's standards? Does it matter how we're all reacting? And when I say we're all, I mean the different people that saw this text and reacted to it a certain way. It doesn't. Whatever your standards are, usually people have the standards they have because they really, really want a certain kind of experience, and they don't want to waste their time on somebody who might not be able to provide that for them. I'm to the point in my life now where if I was to meet someone and he was trying to text me after, it was nighttime, and he reached out and tried to text, to me, that's an immediate no, shut down. We're not going to go any further after that. Do not ever reach out to me after the sun is set and folks are going to bed, because it's a lack of consideration. I'm not doing it. So that's one of my things. And I think a lot of women would probably be on board with that. But at the same time, you might have somebody that's like, oh, I'll just text and we'll see what happens. But I have that particular standard because I've been in way too many situations where someone thinks that they can text you then, and then they go home for the rest of the day. You don't hear from them during the day. You don't hear from them in the afternoon. They don't check up on you. They only check on you at night. So I'm not participating in that kind of communication anymore. And I think when I saw the conversation about the ice cream happening, I was like, this girl is probably tired of not getting her opportunity to experience. She's probably been on a lot of low pressure dates and hangs, a lot of let's just go to this little chain restaurant, let's get some fast food, let's do whatever. She's probably ready to experience something a little bit more luxurious. And so in that way, I can't fault her for for her alarm bells going off and for having a certain reaction to this man's conversation. I will, though, however, point out something that a lot of people pointed out in this text exchange, which was that he didn't even get a chance to actually ask her to go anywhere. Now, this is only the part that was uploaded to social media. And as we know, there's always more. So, or maybe there's more, maybe there's not, I don't know. But from what we can see, the situation was shut down really fast simply because he even hinted at a low pressure situation. And that's kind of the behavior that I was coming down on in the first video that I never posted, but I'm posting this one now. I do think you have to give people the opportunity to fully formulate their intention and then make your decision about whether or not you're going to cut them off. I sincerely do believe that. So in this situation, I would absolutely say that her standards maybe got her, maybe pushed away a good man. We don't know if maybe they'll connect after seeing kind of all the online discourse about them, but that is what I think. I think an ice cream date is fine. I think a coffee date is fine. First date is for getting to know each other and hopefully a low pressure situation, and to even see if you want to build on that. I wanted to talk about this because, like I said, I had noticed this conversation coming up before. And then when I saw that text posted, I was like, man, I made a video about that a couple years ago. No one saw it. It's still on my hard drive. So let's revisit it now. So in conclusion, yes, standards are great. Have them. A lot of times your standards are informed by what your dating practices already look like or what you'd like it to look like. However, I do think when getting to know somebody, you need to give them the time to formulate their full intention. And that time does, I think, include being able to send you more than one text or to officially ask you out on a date, to really give you a concrete idea of what they're going to do, what their intentions are on their first date with you before you cut them off. We can't go cutting people off just because they mention having a sweet treat together. You don't know what else he might have wanted to do. Life is too short. And as somebody who has been a bulldozer with the block button in my life, if I could go back in time, there's a couple people that I would have treated better. And by treat better, I mean give them the opportunity to fully formulate their intention instead of cutting them off when I felt that I wasn't seeing what I needed to see, but I hadn't even given myself time to see that, if that makes sense. So make sure you give yourself enough time to make the right decision. Life is short and it is hot outside. And maybe going and having ice cream with somebody could be the beginning of a beautiful chapter of love in your life. You never know. I do want to know what you guys think about it. Have you ever been on a low pressure first date and it's actually worked out really well for you? Have you been on a low pressure first date and it's worked out terribly for you? Did anyone try and make you walk in a hot park like that guy wanted to do with me? Please let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Remember to check the description box for more details.